Profession Libérale or Passeport Talent Création d'entreprise. Which French visa should you apply for? Everyone will tell you the Profession Libérale is easier for freelancers and entrepreneurs. It's simpler and cheaper as there's no 30,000 euros investment. And they're right, it is easier to apply for. But easier to apply for and easier to get are two completely different things. Hey, I'm Mit. I actually applied for the Profession Libérale visa, got rejected, then applied for the Passeport Talent business creation option and got approved in 9 days. In this video, I'll break down both, including the traps nobody talks about. By the end, you'll know which one fits your situation. Definitions of each visa. The Profession Libérale visa. This visa is popularly called the entrepreneur visa. Many people on this visa are freelancers who registered under the micro-entrepreneur regime, which is for self-employed, non-salaried activity in France. The business is just you as a freelancer. You're like a sole proprietor in the USA or Canada, or a sole trader in Australia. However, if you prefer, you could also create a separate entity like an SARL or SAS. Passeport Talent. Passeport Talent is more of a true entrepreneur visa than a freelance visa, as you need to set up a company that is a separate entity from you. This could be a SARL or an SAS where you're the founder or CEO. You could technically also register as a micro-entrepreneur like many freelancers do with the Profession Libérale visa, but it isn't recommended under Passeport Talent as you won't get maximum mileage from the investment you need to make to get this visa. I'll share more details about this investment shortly. These sound similar on paper, but there's one step that many consultants don't even know exists. I'll get to that in a minute. Business structure and flexibility. With the Profession Libérale visa, many people operate as a micro-entrepreneur. However, you're not limited to it. You can still set up a separate entity like an SARL or SAS, but most freelancers choose to stick with micro-entrepreneur because it is simpler. With this, you have a revenue ceiling around 83,600 euros for services and 203,100 euros for goods under the micro-entrepreneur regime. Your income is basically the business profits. There's no separate salary. However, with the Passeport Talent, you set up a separate entity like an SARL, SAS or SA. With these, there is no revenue ceiling, and you can also hire employees. For example, my business is a SARL, which is similar to an LLC in the USA or an LTD in the UK. I have to pay myself separately. I can also get dividends, costs, and financial thresholds. To get the Profession Libérale visa, there is no upfront cost. You just pay the visa fee when you apply and the residence permit fee for the card. You need to show resources consistent with the SMIC level, around 22,400 euros per year. This can be savings, contracts, or projected income. The more you can show, the stronger your application. For the Passeport Talent, on top of the 30,000 euros investment into your French company's bank account, you also need to show resources at approximately the same level, around the SMIC. Now that 30,000 euros sounds like a disadvantage, but it actually works in your favor when it comes to approval. I'll explain why in a minute. Visa duration and family. With the Profession Libérale visa, you can get a visa for you alone. This will be a 1-year visa. While with the Passeport Talent visa, you can get a visa that is up to 4 years long. For example, they gave me a 2-year visa. And your spouse gets a carte de séjour marked Talent Famille with automatic work authorization. They can work for any employer or start their own business. No separate visa, no additional application. With Profession Libérale, your spouse applies for a visitor long stay visa and cannot work. If you're moving as a couple and your partner needs to work, this single difference can be worth more than the 30,000 euros investment. With Profession Libérale, your first visa is 1 year. That means within months of arriving, you're already planning for renewal. With Passeport Talent, I got 2 years from the start. That's 2 years of just running my business without thinking about the prefecture. Which is easier to apply for? the Profession Libérale is definitely the easier one to apply for. But before you can apply for the visa, you need to get a pre-approval from ANEF. That's the Ministry of Interior's platform. This step is mandatory. If you skip it, your application won't just be weak. It will be rejected as non-compliant. This is one of those traps I mentioned. This is what happened to me. The person I hired didn't know this step existed. I have a separate video on my story and how I fixed this. But the point is, this is the step that many people miss, and it's the step that matters most. Once you get the approval, you can apply for your visa, and you usually get it in 15 to 45 days, depending on the consulate. The Passeport Talent is harder to apply for though. To get the validation on top of the business and financial plan, you also need to create your company, set up a corporate bank account, and even deposit the 30,000 euros beforehand. You then need to submit these documents with either a master's degree certificate or proof of 5 years of experience to the Ministry of Economy for approval. And then you need to submit this approval along with more documents to get your visa. My dossier, for example, ended up including over 40 documents. I included a link to a checklist of all 40 documents in my application and a separate checklist for a perfect Profession Libérale visa application. Below, you can download it for free, which is easier to get approved. So Profession Libérale is faster to put together, but faster to apply for doesn't mean easier to get approved. The Passeport Talent requires more work up front, but in my experience, it's easier to get approved. This is because with the visa, you're making a commitment up front. The prefecture sees 30,000 euros invested into your French company's bank account before you even arrive. That's a different conversation than showing savings in a foreign account. Ease of renewal. Both visas are easy to renew. The requirement is basically that you make the SMIC. If you do this, you should get a 4-year visa at renewal. You might also get the visa if you don't earn the SMIC, but it will usually be a 1-year visa to give you another chance to prove yourself. And both visas can lead to permanent residency or citizenship after 5 years. And if you're wondering, yes, you can start on Profession Libérale and switch to Passeport Talent later, but it's a formal change of status and the timing matters. Both visas can get you to France, both can lead to citizenship. The question is, which one fits your situation? If you already know, check out this video on how to apply for the Profession Libérale visa. I have another on the Passeport Talent. You will see the entire application process, all the documents you need to include, and how to make your application bulletproof.